again, folks. You may remember a little while back I talked about Battlestar Galactica. This time around, I want to talk about Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Now, Buck Rogers in the 25th century was also a TV show, much like Battlestar Galactica, produced by the same guy, by Glenn A. Larson, and it's not as good. Just gonna say that right now. I don't think it's like ripping off Battlestar Galactica or anything like that, because like with the same producer, like how are you ripping off your own show? But it capitalizes on the success of not only Battlestar Galactica, but on the success of Star Wars, which preceded both of these. Kids wanted to see the lasers and the spaceships and the sci-fi and the robots and all that stuff, and it was hot property right there. Now, Buck Rogers originally, of course, appeared in like movie serials, stuff like that, comic strips, I believe, maybe even novels. I don't know, I didn't research that much. First of all, I could only find this one tape. Of course, I could probably view the entire series of Buck Rogers in the 25th century for free online somewhere or on some streaming service. I like the VHS, okay? Anyway, this tape only had one episode on it, but it's a full-length episode, like I guess it would take up an hour time slot on TV, because it's like 47 minutes long on the tape here. Okay, so the story of Buck Rogers is he's this dude. Well, he's not just some dude, he's like an astronaut, and he's in space in the future year of 1987, because this was made in 1979. Up in space, something happens and his life support system crashes, or there's a passing comet or some crap, but there's an accident and he's frozen in suspended animation in space for 500 years until he's revived, becomes a hero for Earth, and helps defend the Earth. It's all good. You get that like Captain America kind of like man out of time sort of thing going on here, but I don't care for the actor that plays him. Gil Gerard. He's pretty freaking cheesy. He's okay though, I guess, like as an action star. He probably does his own fight choreography or some crap. But, I mean, this is the late 70s we're talking about. This is television. Then, for other characters, too, in here you get Colonel Wilma Deering, played by Erin Gray, who's a gorgeous, stunning actress, but she just comes off as a huge bitch in this one. Maybe it's just the episode, I don't know, but she's not very likable in here. Then of course we have Twiki the robot. He has a bit of an unfortunate appearance, at least the way his head looks. Kind of looks like something. He's voiced by Mel Blanc. The Looney Tunes guy that did all the voices, Sylvester the Cat, and Daffy Duck, and Porky Pig, and Bugs Bunny, and Elmer Fudd, and all those guys. And so Twiki the Robot, you'd think, hey, Mel Blanc, master of 1,000 voices, you'd think this would be a great character. No, he looks stupid, and the voice coming out of him just doesn't fit, and they try and make it all spacey, and they give him like this weird voice, like he has like I guess it's supposed to be like a speech impediment or something, because between every few words he says, bitty, 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 bitty. What are we going to do today, Buck? Bitty, bitty, bitty. Like, it's so annoying and stupid. He doesn't really do anything in any of the shows. He's really dumb, and, like, he just carries around this, like, disc-shaped sentient computer professor or something. He's called Dr. Theopolis, and he looks like a LED smiley face thing, and Twiki the Robot wears him on his chest like a big medallion, like a Flavor Flav kind of bling on his chest. And the thing lights up and it talks and it has conversations with Twiki and conversations with Buck Rogers and Wilma and all the other people in the Earth Defense Force, or Defense Directorate or something they're called. Anyway, so yeah, Buck Rogers goes into the future and he hooks up with the Defense Directorate in this particular episode, which is called Unchained Woman. Buck is sent on a covert mission to infiltrate a co-ed prison where he has to break out a female prisoner and I guess get her to testify against somebody because she got set up and sent to prison and whatever. And that prisoner is played by Jamie Lee Curtis. And this is in 1979, so this is actually pretty close to when like Halloween came out, which was her big debut. And I gotta say that although she's not really given a lot to work with here, and she has a fairly big part in the episode, I have to say that she's the best actress in this entire show that I watched, this entire episode. There's one really funny scene in it though. Buck Rogers helps her break out of prison, and they're escaping across this like desert. Oh no, look out for the sand squid. And then there's like these rubber tentacles come out of the ground and like are eating people and stuff. And yeah, you gotta love that sand squid. Buck and Jamie Lee, I can't remember her character name in this, are pursued across the desert and out of the prison planet by androids or robots. And the effects are just horrible in this. They're basically just human actors with like a bunch of like circuit boards taped to them and shit, and it looks really stupid. It plays out really stupid. This is a stupid show. I'll be honest, like Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, this was time filler between like Star Wars movies. It's not nearly as good as Battlestar Galactica, which unfortunately got less episodes than this did. I think the reason for that might be that Battlestar Galactica went through some like legal issues with Lucasfilm, kind of like imitating the style of Star Wars. And this one totally does that too. But they have an excuse here, because it's like, well, Buck Rogers has been around forever, right? He's been around since like the 40s or some shit. So hey, we're just playing out our already existing story of Buck Rogers in the 25th century, and it's not ripping off Star Wars at all. Yeah, this is 1979, so this is the year before The Empire Strikes Back came out and made all that obsolete and terrible, because it kicks the shit out of Buck Rogers, man. I'd hate to say that I didn't enjoy Buck Rogers back in the day, because I guess I did, but mostly because I wanted to see Aaron Gray in that sparkly jumpsuit. Yeah, watch a few minutes of this and you'll see what I mean. But, the special effects, even though some of them I believe were actually recycled from Battlestar Galactica, the special effects they're okay. For some reason they seem way cheaper and not as good as Battlestar Galactica. Maybe it's the show that's around it that doesn't frame it very well, whereas in Galactica we have a dramatic storyline with some comedic moments. It's not as silly as Buck Rogers, so a lot of the special effects and a lot of the characters come off as being really silly in Buck Rogers, and yeah, it's pretty dumb. I'd hate to give this like a really, really negative grade, because there's a lot of people that like Buck Rogers out there, I guess, and it's nostalgic. It's you get to see what science fiction television was like back in the day, when you didn't have all these choices that we have nowadays. Oh, so you like Star Wars? Well, here's what we got for you on television every week. Buck Rogers. We swear it's just as good as Star Wars. No. But yeah, I'd hate to give it a super negative grade, so I'm thinking this would be something like a C-. Yeah, it's no Star Wars. It's not even as good as Galactica. There's a lot of like really silly stuff in here, like stuff that's meant to be serious but comes off as being really silly. So it has a little bit of that cheese factor, but not enough to make it like super entertaining or anything like that. It's old and it's outdated and it's kind of boring and tries a little too hard in some spots. It's not terrible, but it's getting there. Anyway, sorry to trash on Buck Rogers if he's like your childhood hero or something, or you fondly remember the show and you loved it, and I just didn't care for it as much. If you're really into Buck Rogers, I guess, like, you can go buck yourself. Anyway, everybody out there, have a good one, and we'll see you next time.